When I bought the vacation house, I thought it was the start of something new. A clean break. A beautiful sea-facing place where my wife and I could finally breathe again. The house was freshly painted, fully furnished, the kind of place that felt ready for us. My wife, Anna, barely said a word as we unpacked. She just walked through every room like she was remembering something that had been erased. Her fingers trailed across the walls, tracing old memories that I didn't recognize. That evening, as the sun melted into the horizon, a neighbor showed up with a bottle of wine. He looked friendly, maybe mid-50s, weathered face, kind eyes. "Welcome to the neighborhood," he said. Then, with a strange half-smile, he added, "Congrats on your new start." I laughed politely, but when I glanced at Anna, she'd gone pale. She mumbled something and walked inside. The neighbor watched her leave. Then he looked at me and said quietly, "She looks different this time." I didn't understand what he meant. That night, the sound of the ocean lulled me to sleep until something woke me. The bed beside me was empty. I went downstairs and saw the back door wide open. Outside, the air was cold and wet. The moonlight stretched across the yard, and there she was, standing barefoot near the old wooden shed, whispering to herself. "I used to keep them here," she said. Her voice was distant, almost mechanical. I grabbed her shoulders, shaking her gently away. She blinked at me, confused. "What are you doing out here?" I asked. I don't know," she whispered. I must have been sleepwalking. But the next morning, when I brought it up again, she swore she'd never left the bed. The neighbor waved at me from across the fence later that day. He looked like he wanted to say something but didn't. The whole town felt like that, quiet, watchful. When I stopped at a local cafe, the barista looked up, froze for a second, and smiled awkwardly. "So, she came back?" she asked. I frowned. "You know my wife?" The barista hesitated, realizing she'd said too much. "Sorry, I must have confused her with someone else." When I told Anna later, she snapped. "People make mistakes," she said sharp. "Stop asking questions about me, about the past." That night I couldn't sleep. Something in her tone didn't sound like fear. It sounded like guilt. Around midnight, I took a flashlight and went back to the shed. Inside, the air smelled of mold and burnt wood. Something glinted beneath a pile of old planks. It was a half-burned driver's license. The photo was unmistakable. It was Anna's face, but the name was different. The expiration date was years ago. Underneath it was a torn photo. Anna standing with a man much older than me, smiling on the same porch. The caption on the back said, "Our new home, finally ours." The man's name matched the one on the property deed I'd signed 2 weeks ago, the previous owner. I confronted her the next morning. She didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she sat down, folded her hands, and said, "I know you're not who you think you are." I froze. What the hell does that mean? She took a long breath. "6 months ago, you were in a car accident. The doctor said your memory loss would fade. But you didn't just forget. You erased everything. You changed your name, your face, and then you bought this house back." "That's impossible," I said. "I have my ID, my medical records, all fake." She interrupted softly. "You built a new life for yourself because you couldn't live with what you did." Her eyes filled with tears. "You were him, John, the man who owned this house. You were the previous owner." My stomach twisted. "No, that's not true." She reached out a trembling hand. "It's why I stayed with you. I thought maybe we could start over." That afternoon, the neighbor showed up again. His face was drawn, uneasy. "I shouldn't say this," he muttered, "but you shouldn't have come back. She's dangerous. The last man who lived here. She killed." The words punched the air out of me. "Who?" I demanded. He looked at me sadly. "You know who." I ran to the shed again. My flashlight flickered across the floorboards. There, dark stains under the planks. Dried, old, blood. My phone buzzed. A new message from an unknown number. No text, just a photo. It was me, older, standing beside Anna. Same porch, same house, same smile. I turned around. She was standing in the doorway of the shed. "You never left," she said calmly. "You just forgot." Memories started bleeding back. A fight, screaming, the sound of breaking glass, the flash of headlights. My voice cracked. "So who did I kill, Anna?" She smiled faintly. "You killed yourself." She stepped closer. "You couldn't live with what happened. I tried to save you. I tried to bring you back." I stumbled backward as the world tilted. The sea roared louder. Her whisper followed me. "Welcome home." The flashlight dropped from my hand, spinning across the floor until everything went black, except the faint echo of waves, carrying a single truth I'd buried long ago. I hadn't bought this house. I'd come back to it, and the woman beside me was both my past and my punishment.